Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in this video we're going to continue with our summer home decorating ideas. And I'm gonna share with you how to make a beautiful statement on your front door with a gorgeous teardrop swag. Now, if you have not seen our last video, I shared with you how to decorate a gorgeous lantern with a 4th of July theme, and I really wanna share with you real quick a sneak peek of that. All right, you guys, so here is the finished lantern and it's going to be at center stage here in my living room. I just love the way this turned out. It looks so beautiful with the blue and white, and that red, blue, and white really just pops off and it makes it look very festive. Now here on the inside, I put my beautiful gnome. Remember when we did the wreath, I told you that I had purchased two. Well, one for the front door and one for the lantern. I just love the way he looks in there. I added some silver and red ornaments. I wish I had some blue ones, but I don't. And I just want to share with you right here how all of the loops of the ribbon looks with the flowers and the greeneries and the deco material. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful and I really love it. I hope you do too, and I cannot wait to read your comments. Well, as you can see, that lantern was absolutely gorgeous, and you can find it on my description box below if you want to check out that video after this. But as I was telling you, what we're going to do is we're going to create a beautiful statement with a beautiful swag for your front door, and for that we're going to use this Christmas teardrop swag. In that video, I shared with you that I'm always saving these teardrop swags, the wreaths, and then also the garlands, because I'm always using them with other projects throughout the year. We're going to also use a selection of ribbons like the ones we use for the garland. I'm going to incorporate this beautiful Star Spangled Banner one. I'm gonna use deco material. I'm gonna have my scissors and my cutters. I'm gonna have some of the picks that we put on the lantern with the stars, and then some hydrangea in blue and in white, and some greeneries. So to get started with this beautiful swag for your front door, what we're going to do is we're going to fluff it, because as you know, they come flat like a pancake from the box, from the manufacturer. And this is something that we already used last year, but like I said, I always like to store them out because you can always use all of these greeneries throughout the seasons. You can use them for spring, definitely for summer, as we're going to be using it for fall, and then of course for what they're intended, which is Christmas. But you know what, this is what I call a simple garland, because what they're used for is like the base material for all of your design. So I always try to save some of this to the side, but you know, fluffing is what takes the most part. So I'm going to continue fluffing this so you don't hear me talking all these minutes, and I'll be right back with you when all this is done. Take a look. All right, you guys, so I am about done fluffing this garland, and you have to touch every tip from your garland to make it look as full and as girthy as possible. And sometimes you have to turn it upside down just to fluff all of those bristles, because those bristles it's what's gonna allow us to continue to design. Look how much fuller and beautiful it already looks, and it's going to be so much fun. All right, so our first step is going to be to add our deco material. And on our last video, when I shared with you how to make the lantern, a lot of you asked if I had a video on how to do the material, because I skipped that step. So I'm going to share with you right now. So basically what I like to do is I'm gonna just drop it on the floor, and I'm gonna do a loop right here like this, and I'm gonna add that one to the top, and I'm going to start over on this side. And just by grabbing two of these bristles, you have to tie it really tight, especially the first one, because that's gonna hold it down. So then what you wanna do is like you're gonna pull up, and then you're going to pinch right here, and you're gonna go as far in as you can with your deco material and create this really beautiful swoop coming up, and you're gonna repeat that step going down. Now as you get to the narrower part of your swag, what you want to do is make those loops smaller, because remember that we're gonna use this just as an accent and not so much as a focal point. So we want to hide some of those things. So as you can see, I'm trying to make those loops smaller, and then I'm going to do one last loop right here to attach to the very bottom. And then when I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it about 5 inches, and then I'm going to cut at an angle to just let it curl. All right, so we're gonna let that to the top. So we're gonna repeat the same thing over on this side. So we did that on the right side. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. And I'm always telling you that it doesn't matter if you're creating a beautiful floral arrangement or if you're decorating your Christmas tree. In order to balance your arrangements, you always have to keep that in mind, that whatever happens on your left has to happen on your right, and then what goes up must come down, because that's what's going to keep the balance on your arrangements. And so keep in mind that we're just doing these loops real quick. This is the easiest step, and it takes just about a roll of this deco material. And I told you on our last video that I took a class on how to properly use this material. One of the tips they gave us is this: you know, you have to go in there and really pull it apart, because they kind of frays, and if you let it fray, it just gets too thin. So when it gets all curled up like this, it is your job to kind of uncurl it and pull on it to create that loop, and then tie it to your swag. But that one's too big, so we're gonna go like this. Once you tie it to your swag or your wreath or your lantern or whatever garland that you're doing, you have to go in there and then pull it apart like this, so it really shows. Okay, so now I'm going to cut right here at an angle. And at this point, you guys, if you have this much left, just go ahead and pitch it, because you know you're not gonna use it. And if you don't pitch it, you're gonna end up gathering all these materials that, well, you don't really need. So might as well just get rid of it. All right, so the next step is going to be to add our ribbon. And for that, I selected this beautiful ribbon right here. And it has a beautiful Star Spangled Banner design on it. And it is a one-sided ribbon, which means the designer part of it, it's forward, and then the back of it is not printed. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna let it drop. And I'm gonna cross right here to get my wires. That is the other thing I tell you, always have your tools at the ready, because you never know when you're going to need them. So what I'm going to do right here is this ribbon, I'm just gonna cut out a slant to make it look finished, like this. And then I'm going to do a loop like this, and I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow, like so. And then just like with your Christmas tree, what you're going to do is you're gonna grab your wire, and you're gonna wire all of this together and pull really tight to the back. And we're gonna start up here on the middle. Okay, so I'm gonna start right here, and I'm gonna grab my bristle, and I'm just gonna twist that wire, and look what that's gonna do. It's gonna give us these 2 little loops. So now what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start with this ribbon. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with my deco material. And remember to go as far in as you can, then grab 2 of those bristles and then just twist them and see how beautiful that loop is going to be. And what that's gonna allow us to do is to have this as close as possible. And you also want to be sure to give them some air, so that way they're not too squished together and not too flat. By giving it that air, look, you're creating these beautiful loops instead of just pulling it flat. Like, you don't want to do that, right? So I'm gonna do a 3-loop right here. Remember, as it goes down, you have to do that loop a little bit smaller, because the swag is getting smaller itself, so you want to be as proportionate as you can to your swag. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right here at an angle, and I'm going to respect that angle of the stars. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more. So I'll show you. I'm going to do 1 loop, twist. Remember to bring that printed side forward, pinch like this, and then you want to bring that forward again. We're going to grab one of our wires. It's always good to have all of your wires pre-cut, so that way you're not spending a lot of time. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and I'm going to attach it right here. So I'm gonna make it look like it grew from this right here. So I'm gonna grab my bristle, and remember to push it as far in as you can, and then we're going to attach our wire like that. And so now we have a bow right here. We skipped 2 loops, and now we're gonna have a bow. And for this, what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna do 1 loop. I'll share with you right here, like this. And so that's gonna kind of make us look like we have a bow. You know what, I'm gonna do a second one, because we have still a lot of garland to go down. And I'm always telling you guys to let your eye kind of dictate where is it that you have to cut, where you have to put the bow. And trust me when I tell you, your eye will let you know, because you learn to know that like where does it need to be filled and where it doesn't. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow once again, and I'm gonna grab a wire. I have so much fun sharing these ideas with you guys, because I know that there's so many of you who do this for a living, and I just want to encourage you to keep going, whether it's on your Etsy shop or it is like a bazaar or a flea market or whatever you have your items for sale. You guys keep going, and I promise you that if you never give up, you will reach a level of success that you're looking for, because I've learned in life that only those who never quit will make it to the finish line. So if you are a person that is trying to start your own business, and if there's anything I can do for you, be sure to send me a message on Instagram if you need some advice, or if you just want to hear from me how I sell those on Insta, like when I sell on Etsy and stuff. I would be more than glad to help you. So be sure to send me an email or a message on Instagram so that I can help you out with your business. And I just try to give you all of the tips and ideas that I've learned throughout the years, because I want you to succeed at this. And if you're making it just for your door, then I want you to have the most beautiful wreath or swag on your door. All right, so let me see. I have, perfect. So I think this is good enough, because there's going to be other materials. You know what, I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow, because I already have the ribbon, right? So if I'm not gonna use it, might as well just add a little bit more, and not just pitch all of it, because remember, we're pitching what we don't use. We don't wanna be left with a whole bunch of things that we are going to gather and then not want to pitch it. Because trust me when I tell you, I have a garage full of things that I always say, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be using that. And then I'm cleaning and organizing when I get a shipment for Christmas, let's say. And then I'm like, oh, I wanna get rid of it, but what if I'll ever use it? And so I save it, and guess what, I never use it. And so that's why I have a garage that I just have to go through and get rid of some of this stuff, you guys, because it's never going to make it, there's never gonna see the light of sun again. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna cut right here, so I'm gonna let that go for now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these beautiful greeneries. These are from Walmart, and I already pre-cut them. And I'm gonna start right here on the top. So I'm gonna add one right here. Then I'm gonna grab my 2 bristles. Remember, just with 2 bristles, we twist them and we make it look like it grew from our swag. We're gonna do the same with this other one. We're gonna grab it right here. I want it to be really airy, so I'm gonna try and put as many of these as possible. And just grab your swag like that. Look how pretty that is. It's gonna look so natural. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add going down. I'm gonna add some of these going down like this. I'm just gonna grab my bristle and attach. If you are making this to sell, I recommend that you add a little bit of glue to it. That'll help it stay where it needs to go and not fly away anywhere. And so now I'm gonna do one going down. This is just to add some of this greenery, because we are going to add hydrangea to it. And remember, I always tell you that if you are adding florals to any, whether it's your Christmas tree or any arrangement, if you are adding any type of floral, be sure to add some of that foliage, because it will make it look more professionally done and more natural as well. So now I'm gonna add some of this hydrangea, and I'm gonna start adding one up here. And once again, with that bristle, I'm just gonna twist around, and I'm gonna add one to this side. I'm gonna bend the head. Also remember to always bend the head. And then I'm gonna grab a bristle, and I'm going to twist around my head like that. So now I'm gonna go over to the other side, and because it's getting narrower, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the head upside down. I'm gonna grab a bristle over here. Once again, if you are doing this to sell for a customer, whether it's a special order or just for your shop, then be sure to add some glue to it, so that way it'll stay. Then I'm going to add one to the very bottom. I'm just gonna grab this bristle and attach going up. And I have some white ones. I wanna add just a few white. I'm gonna grab over here from my shelf, and I'm gonna add one right here. Look how pretty this is. It looks festive at the same time. It looks natural, and it just has that little touch of the ribbon that is going to really scream 4th of July. and summer is here. All right, so now we're gonna flop some of these ribbons, bring them forward like this. I'm gonna get our next items ready and I'll be right back with you, so keep watching. All right, so for our next item, what we're going to do is we're gonna add the loops, and I went ahead and did, oh my goodness, I didn't even dovetail this one. I went ahead and did some loops of ribbon, and you can find how these are done when, if you watch the video on how to make that beautiful lantern that I shared with you. That's where I show you how to make these bows. But look at that, that's just going to add that beautiful sparkly 4th of July feel to this. And it's all about layering, you guys. It really is about the layers and then the texture. So you have both ribbons that are really making a statement right here. And remember, what goes up must come down. What goes to the left happens to the right. So you have to move from one side to the next to make sure that this swag has all of the elements, the same elements all throughout your swag. And so now we're gonna move over to this side. See, I'm letting my eye dictate. So I'm going, like, my eye told me that this one needs to go here because it will be more balanced if I add this one over on this side. So what I do is I just grab one of the bristles, and then I twist right there. See how it's getting filled up? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one right here in the middle. And at this point, finding a bristle is getting hard. So sometimes you have to hang on to your garland as you're working to make sure that you have all of those ribbons. And I want to add one to the very, very bottom. So I'm going to kind of take it off here. Let me see if I can, yeah, it'll stay right here because I want to make sure that it's right here on the very bottom, on the very tip of it. And so what I can do is attach this to the whole garland right here because I wanted to have that ribbon, which is like our main ribbon, all the way down. Look at that, how beautiful it goes all the way down. This is going to look so beautiful on the door. But I have one last item that I want to add. Let me make sure that I hook it right there. You know what, I have one left of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the top over to this side like this, just so it's our topper on our garland. And for that I have to find me a bristle. And like I said, at this point I'm just trying to put it where I want it without, there you go. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? Okay, so now I have these picks. Remember these picks I shared with you on our last lantern? And so they have all of these stars, and I went ahead and cut them in two. And like I told you before, you have to cut them in as many as you need. So for this particular swag, I'm gonna continue cutting because I just wanna use them like a pick. And so basically what you need to do is go ahead and add those also to your garland like this. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna get my hot glue gun ready because I do want to glue these guys together. So allow my hot glue gun to get heated up and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, you guys, so now that my hot glue gun has warmed up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of these stars on the stem, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue to them. And I'm gonna start adding them into my swag. I do wanna see them, so I wanna make sure that they pop off and that they are forward, so that way everybody can see them. You don't wanna push them too far in because, like I said, I want them to really show off. So what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of glue right there. I'm gonna add this one right here to the top, over here. Look how pretty, and it's just a peekaboo on the center. We're gonna go all throughout the center because that's like our main part of the swag. So I'm gonna add another one right here, and I'm gonna add this one to this side, and they add a little bit of whimsy. I'm gonna add this whole one to the bottom because to elongate that shape. But remember to always touch all of the stars and everything that you are making that has a lot of wire to them. You have to touch all of the wires. There you go. I'm gonna add that one right there. And then I'm gonna add this last one. Let's see, I'm gonna add it right here coming out, but now without first attaching all of this, and then adding a little bit of glue right there. And we're gonna put this one right here on the middle, opening all of that. You do want to make sure that it catches onto the greenery. And then what I'm going to do is I have this really pretty, how beautiful is this jasmine from Walmart. Oops, and we lost an ornament. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same with the glue. Just add a little bit of this, and I'm going to add some of this. And remember, that is our flyaway. I'm always telling you that in order to have a beautiful arrangement, you have to have a flyaway element, and is that thing that protrudes from the rest of your arrangement, and is going to really make it stand out to everybody who sees it. So I'm gonna continue to add some of this jasmine. Like I said, you can find this jasmine at Walmart. And once again, if you're making this to sell, then I recommend to use this glue all throughout all of your elements, because that way they're going to be secure and put in place, and your guests and customers are really going to appreciate it. So I'm gonna add another one up here to the top. How pretty is this? It's just so summery, so patriotic, and I just love, love, love this. All right, so that's all the adjustment that I'm going to add as a flyaway. Let me see, where do I need? Sometimes I say that's all, but like I cannot make myself stop, because I feel like we already have the product, so might as well just make it, you know, a word of advice that, or wisdom, we call them pearls of wisdom in the industry that I was given once by a designer, is that it's not done till it's overdone. Right? When you're doing this for displays, you want it to really wow people. And so we just had that running joke that it was not done till it was overdone, because that way you really wow your guests at the door and your family members, and you're like, oh my gosh, who did that? And you're like, oh, I did it. And so it really is not done till it's overdone. Another one that I liked is said, go big or go home. So I love that too. So how big do we want to go? Well, go big or go home. And so that's why we just keep adding this beautiful jasmine to our swag. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add these ones right here. And once again, make sure that it goes into that greenery, the Christmas green. Let me see to this side. How beautiful is this, you guys? Thumbs up if you are enjoying it. So once again, I'm just gonna go ahead right here, like this. And at this point, you have to make them go down. And I just feel like I need to add some more on this side right here. And I'm gonna add a few more on this side. Now here's another secret I can give you is, if we really want it to sparkle, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these ornaments and I'm gonna put them on a wire like this. I'm gonna add 3, and I'm gonna make sure that I have different ones, and I'm gonna add some silver ones. Now we think of ornaments only for Christmas, but that's another element that you already have at home. So might as well just do a few clusters like this. I'll share with you real quick, just a few of them to add that sparkle. When the sun touches them, it's going to really add that sparkle, and it's going to make them a little bit more festive. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna attach to one of the bristles like this, and see how that just that little sparkle. And it works because this right here, the white is actually silver, so it's going to add a few of them. I'll show you one more going down. So I'm gonna grab one ornament, and this silver right here looks almost white, so it really works. And once again, the silver on the ribbon, it really pulls into the silver of the ornaments, and when that catches the sun, all of that glitter and all of that beautiful just celebration. So I'm gonna add one maybe right here. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna put my hand in the back, and I'm going to attach to my bristle right here. Like that. I'm gonna add a few more clusters of these ornaments. I'm gonna put this in the door and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. Here is this beautiful summer swag for your front door. Now this is how you make a statement on your front door this 4th of July and this summer season. Look at how beautiful and how easy it really was to create a gorgeous swag with all of these florals, hydrangeas, with beautiful ribbons, with ornaments, and it's just so festive. I also love the way this turned out. There is 3 types of ribbon and so many floral stems. And if you just follow the steps on this beautiful swag, you too can create a beautiful statement on your front door this summer. Now, if you don't like the color scheme, remember the steps are the same. All you have to do is change the ribbons, the florals, but the technique is the same. So that means you can create a beautiful swag this summer for your front door. What do you guys think? I cannot wait to read your comment.